Yo, crew members, what it be?
Heyo! Hi. Does he still do that? I don't even remember.
That's a damn good question. I'm actually not sure.
Yeah. We're going to have to wait a few months to find out. So we've been talking the last couple weeks about not really knowing the status of Anthony. We thought he was going to be out. Then we thought he was going to be back. And then we literally just found out last night while we were about to play our usual night of Chell that Anthony is indeed away for work. He'll be back mid-December, and we'll try to get him back on around then. But until then, it's just Wes and I holding down the fort.
We gonna do it.
We are not new to this, so
we fresh, baby. Let's do it.
We will handle it. And there's been a bunch of news out in the world, in the video game world, so we are going to tackle some of that right now. And you want to go first or want me to go?
Nah, you can kick first. I mean, we'll start with you, and then we'll just try to flow through all the stories we can.
You got it.
Yeah.
So, excuse me. So Capcom.
Sound like you swallow your tongue.
Capcom says it has a major unannounced title planned before March of 2024, and that has a bunch of people speculating what that might be. This is according to a Japanese Q&A section published alongside its latest earnings result this week, in which it mentions the unannounced title in relation to how it intends to reach its year-end sales targets, because I guess there's a big gap to what they're used to hitting, and they know that there's this game that's going to make up for it. Considering its aspirations for the unannounced game, it is possible that it would be related to one of their two biggest franchises, being either Resident Evil or Monster Hunter. My brain, if I had to pick between one of those two, would say Monster Hunter, just because unless they're coming out with a brand new Resident Evil, which I'm not expecting, they did just have the success of the Resident Evil 4 remake. So to come right back with another one seems a little strange.
And I feel like
unless it's a brand new game.
We're not at the point for Resident Evil 5 to be a remake, though.
No. And that's what I'm saying. I don't think they're following up a remake with a remake.
No.
And Village is still quite new, I think, compared to like when it came out versus Resident Evil 7. So for them to already come out with a new one would be wild. They do believe that it is possible that since there are a few major industry events left before March of 2024, that the game could be announced during the Game Awards in December. That seems like the place to reveal it. Capcom said on its own, it is on track to achieve 11 consecutive years of operating income growth following a strong first half of the fiscal year, so that's cool.
All right.
Their best-selling game during the first 6 months period was Street Fighter 6. I don't know if you played that, which has now surpassed 2.47 million units since its release at the start of June. And then the one I was just talking about, the most recent Resident Evil 4 remake, sold a further 1.66 million copies during the first half of the fiscal year, taking its lifetime total to 5.45 million following its release in March. Top selling franchise of all time, now has surpassed 150 million sales. So there is that. So Capcom, you think Capcom, and like I said, you know, there's a lot of games you could think of, but then when they say a major unannounced title that you're planning on making up a lot of money, there's some that you can probably leave out. Like you think you want to say Comcast. You think Capcom, again, immediately you think, I had actually forgotten Monster Hunter, to be completely honest. Because
that would be one of the first ones that I would think. But then again, that's one of the first ones. You know, that's probably the most recent game that I've played.
Yeah,
from Capcom.
Capcom, my brain immediately goes to Resident Evil and Street Fighter. Now, I can't imagine another fighting game making up the money that they want to make to get to where they want to make. And again, Resident Evil seems to be out. I'm just doing by process of elimination, because another game that you think of is like the Mega Man franchise. But is a Mega Man game gonna is that considered a major unannounced title? I mean,
when was the last time
unless you're reinventing the wheel
franchise? I mean, when was the last time we had anything in it?
Look up when Mega Man 10 came out. It was 10 or 11. It came out pretty recently for Xbox, I believe. Actually, it may have came out for both, but I forget which one was the latest. I think it's Mega Man 10.
That came out in 2010.
Okay, check 11 then. There's a Mega Man game that just recently came out, or that is the most recent one to come out.
All right, so the newest Mega Man game is 11 for looks like the PS4. Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection.
Yeah, I don't know about all that.
I don't know about that.
When did 11 come out?
11. Let's see. When did you release?
Is that going to tell you there? I don't think so. Hold on.
I don't know.
I got you.
I don't fucking know. There we go. We got the first curse out today. There we go.
Mega Man 11, 2018.
2018, May 29th. Yep, I found it.
So, I mean, unless you're reinventing
It's
the
5
wheel,
years, dude.
Unless you're reinventing the wheel, I can't imagine that another side scroller. And I love Mega Man. I'm not downplaying it, but I can't imagine just another run of the mill side scroller Mega Man game is going to be your major title. So I'm going to go out on record. I'm going to say it's something to do with Monster Hunter.
I would love for it to be Monster Hunter.
What's the most recent Monster Hunter? Is it
the one that's on Game Pass?
Is it Rise?
Yes.
Monster Hunter Rise.
And,
okay.
dude, it was good.
And when did that come out? Do you know? That was within the last couple of years, right? Is that even older than I think?
Nah, that's older. Okay, so Monster Hunter Rise came out. Oh shit! It came out 2021.
Okay, so yeah, last couple of years.
Yeah. I mean, look, it did have we had at least 2 DLCs on that, I believe.
Okay.
But like,
I haven't played since Monster Hunter World, and I loved it.
Monster Hunter World was a lot of fun as well. And it's funny, I went from being a melee fighter in World to being a ranged fighter in Rise. And the main reason why I did that was because like things were just a little too complicated with the mechanics of like the melee weapons. And that's like one of the things with Monster Hunter that I've always noticed. If it's just like an open world type play and not turn based, everything that has to do with the melee weapons is always complicated mechanically. And honestly, I'm looking at it going, I don't have time to learn these mechanics. Like I honestly don't, because there's other games that I play and all this other shit. So I'm like, fuck it. I'll try out the ranged weapons.
What do you like more?
Heavy bow.
But I'm saying from you doing the melee stuff in World to range, and like what's your pleasure?
Oh god, I like ranged so much better.
Even if you had the time to learn melee, you still rather range?
Yes, because I like, you know this because you and I play a lot of games together. So I play support.
Yeah.
On most of the stuff that we play.
Yeah,
most of the stuff we play.
You're either tank support or
med support.
Yeah.
One of the two. And that's one of the nice things about the ranged players in Rise. Well, I mean, basically in all of them, because I did actually kind of fuck with World a little bit with the ranged. I went back into it.
Yeah.
And I can shoot them with a paralyzing bullet. I can shoot them with a poison bullet. I can shoot them with, you know what I mean, like just basically anything. Just start knocking down all their defenses, because the fucking monsters are OP as shit. You know what I mean? You gotta work. You gotta work these motherfuckers like 10 minutes before you actually take one down, or you can capture it. So Hav ran melee, Mike ran melee, and then Dan was a light bowman, I was a heavy bowman. And it just honestly just worked out well. I enjoyed Monster Hunter Rise though. If they throw something out within that range of it, not necessarily like, because they had one that came out like 2 or 3 years ago for the Switch that was turn-based, and while it was fun, it wasn't the greatest thing that I've ever played. So I would love to see Monster Hunter give us another good game.
But see, now I'm thinking, because like you said, a major unannounced title, would they come out with another Monster Hunter after one just dropped a couple years ago? Because another franchise, Devil May Cry, is another big Capcom franchise, and to
DMC.
my knowledge, their last one was 2019. That might be enough time for them to want to come out with another one. That's a very real possibility. I also thought about Marvel vs. Capcom, but I don't know how.
So right here I have a list of all of the major franchises. So you have 194X, Ace Attorney. Ace Attorney, I believe, is a...
I know it. Phoenix Wright, right? Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney?
Yeah. Oh, man. Sorry. Andy was, you know what I mean, setting himself up, getting ready to post on the gram.
Taking a
You have Bionic Commando, Breath of Fire. Deathstalkers would have been another one. Dead Rising. We haven't seen anything Dead Rising in a while.
Yeah, that's true.
Like you said, Devil May Cry. You have Dino Crisis, Dragon's Dogma, Final Fight, Ghost and Goblins. Another Lost Planet game would be nice. Anthony and I played the Lost Planet stuff, man. It was good. Like you said, Marvel vs. Capcom, Mega Man, Monster Hunter, Amishus.
Huh?
I don't know. I can't read that one. I don't know how to say that. You know what? Onimusha?
Onimusha, yeah. I used to play those back in the day.
Oh, really?
All right, yeah. I played Onimusha Warlords, I believe.
Never even heard of it.
Back in the day.
Never heard of it.
I mean, let's see. Hold on. That game. When did that game come out? 2001. was the last time I played. All right, so you know what? We're gonna get the answer soon enough. So what do you think? If you had to guess, what do you think this major unannounced title is gonna be? I'm gonna say Devil May Cry. I was gonna go Monster Hunter until I realized they just had one in 2021. So I'm gonna go Devil May Cry.
You know what? I'm gonna completely go off the rails here. I'm gonna go Beautiful Joe. Because that's something that nobody has heard in so long.
I wonder if they would take a chance on that being a major title with how long it's been since people have heard that. Wasn't that a Dreamcast game? Like, what was that?
Yeah, the Beautiful Joe games came out on GameCube, PS2, PlayStation Portable, and Nintendo DS.
Wow.
Yeah. Latest release was in 2005.
Sheesh.
I just remember how
Beautiful Joe.
Insanely colorful and bright those games were.
Because that was at the peak, I think, right? When you had a lot of those games that were popping off. You had like Jet Set Radio, and because Beautiful Joe was a cel shaded-ish game, right? Or no?
Yeah, it had that. It had a little bit of that style,
kind of that aesthetic, yeah.
Yeah, but like you said before, I don't expect Mega Man. I don't, because
I'm just doing process of elimination. That's what I'm saying. So that's why I'm thinking Devil May Cry. Marvel vs. Capcom. Marvel vs. Dead Rising they were big games, and the Marvel vs. Capcom games everybody loves, but
see, if they were going to do something with Marvel vs. Capcom, I feel like there would be more rumbles within like the e-gaming community, and if that was the case, we definitely would have heard something by now.
Fair enough. All right, final answer. I'm going Devil May Cry.
All right, final answer. I'm actually going to switch mine again. I am going to go.
You'd be fun on a game show.
Oh, God, I'm horrible. I'm going to go Lost Planet just because I really, really enjoyed those games.
Lost Planet
was fun. Those games were good.
This was the one out in like the snow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, last time we had a Lost Planet was in 2013, so it would be nice to see that come back.
I think I remember Pops playing one of them games.
Yep. Lost Planet 2 was the big one that he played.
Yeah. All right, well, what you got?
All right, so we're going to go from that to...
I was about to say, if you want to do that one, we can hit all the... Because I got an article for them as well. So.
All right, let's rock it then. All right, so we're going to go into Insomniac. Not only have they been just riding an absolute high off of Spider-Man 2 and everything that has come with it, we have finally found out everything within Insomniac. It's all its own universe that actually is Marvel canon. So Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 1, and the Wolverine movie, that's a Wolverine video game that's supposed to be coming out in 2024, I believe. All of them are part of Universe 1048. The universe has been quantified as canon because it is in the Across the Spider-Verse movie. You know what I mean? They at least mentioned something about it. There haven't really been like that many Easter eggs as a, you know what I mean, towards like, hey, this is everything going on in this universe. But one of the things I do like that one of the I want to make sure I say this guy's name right. It said Ithakar. Intihar. Okay. I can't find his last name wherever the hell it is. All right, so one of the things that he was talking, because he was talking with IGN about, about Wolverine and what everything we're expecting, because we haven't seen anything from it since 2021. And one of the things that he said, he was like, "Hey, we just want to make sure that we give our creators the most time as possible just doing the work.
Yeah.
We don't want to push anything to where it's like, hey, we're looking at Game Awards XXX. Let's go ahead and make sure we have something ready for that. So that way the only focus is on a 5-minute sequence of something. Instead, they're just like, hey, we're just going to, when we get closer to it, then we'll start throwing stuff out.
Yeah.
And I like that. Like, you're about to talk about with some Spider-Man. Like, dude, Spider-Man 2 is killing it.
Yeah, I got a couple things to talk about Spider-Man. Some up, some down, but more up than down.
Dude, more than 2.5 million copies.
Yeah.
In 24 hours.
That's a perfect segue because...
In 24 hours.
Absolutely, yeah. Perfect segue because Spider-Man 2 is now the fastest selling game ever made by PlayStation. So, like Wes said, Spider-Man 2 sold more than 2.5 million physical and digital copies in its first 24 hours. Now, the criticism it faces, I'm almost starting to think is a little bit unfair because the main criticism that it faced is that the main story only takes about 15 hours to complete.
Yes.
But it extends to between 40 and 50 hours when you go and you do a lot of the side quests. Now, I think the main problem that people are having with it is the time that this game came out, because this game came out right around a plethora of games that have hundreds of hours worth of things. It comes out with Starfield. It comes out with Baldur's Gate. It comes out with, what's the other one? Not as long as those, but, oh my God. It'll come back to me. It'll come back to me. But I think that's part of the reason why people are a little frustrated is because you're spoiled with something. It's a different type of game, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, because...
And if you played any of the other ones, they weren't wildly long either.
I was just about to say, we already knew with Miles that, that Miles was going to be significantly shorter than Insomniac's Spider-Man, the first game.
Yeah.
But, like, that Miles game was just fucking incredible.
I agree. So yeah, Spider-Man 2 is the highest or the fastest selling game made by PlayStation now. Some of the downs on it. So, like I said, I'm not going to talk about the length because I think that's a little goofy. They did just come out with a patch because they had a little flag issue. They had a little flag issue when it came to Miles because instead of Puerto Rican flag, they had a Cuban flag.
Yes.
And for those of you who may not know, Cuba and Puerto Rico are two different places.
They are two different
flags.
Yes.
So, but they did fix it, and then I don't have the exact. And Wes can find it if he wants to. I don't know if it's 100% necessary, but I do not have the exact response that Insomniac gave for it. But they came out, they owned it, they didn't make any bullshit. They said we're going to fix it. We'll strive to do better. It was a mistake. Everything they should say, they said. While Wes is looking that up.
Did you see that people are freaking out? People are upset now that the Spider Cube is gone.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that too. So that is another thing that was covered in the latest patch is that so there was a glitch. Now, thankfully, even before this patch, there was a workaround because I got a little nervous. So one of the biggest things when you're playing these games are the suits that you can unlock. Like that, yes. It makes it fun. Now, do they do anything other than change the aesthetic? No, but they're dope, and there's a lot of them. And when you finally unlock the ability to unlock new suits, if you play like I do, where you do a lot of side stuff first, you already have a lot of like city tokens and things saved up and tech parts. So by the time I was able to start unlocking some suits, I had so many parts. I was I was able to unlock, probably like 20, 25 suits. Now, I don't remember, you played Miles, so you can let me know. I don't remember, when you unlocked a new suit, were there also then different variations of that suit that you could further unlock?
I don't believe so.
So, now they had plenty of suits.
Now, I do know that with Spider-Man 2, you're basically leading into this part of it.
Yeah.
Multiple suits have multiple
like color schemes
redesigns.
And stuff. Yeah. So like the Spider-Man, like the Spider-Man 2099 suit, like you unlock that and then you can use more tech parts and unlock 3 or 4 different variations of that suit.
Or the Arachnite.
Now they don't,
which is Spider-Man mixed with Moon Knight.
Yeah. And now they don't all have that. Like some of them are just what they are. Like I think like the Noir outfit is like that's just that.
Yeah, Noir doesn't really have anything else besides.
But anyway, so what happened was, and every time you pick a suit, you can select it and see what it looks like, and then you go into the game. Well, I came across I did the first couple suits, and I was like, oh, this is great. And then there was 10 more I had to unlock. I started unlocking them, but it just kept popping up as a white cube. And I was like, I guess it just didn't load all the way yet. I'm going to have to go into the game to actually see this. And then I back out to go play, and it literally turned Spider-Man into a white cube, or Miles for that matter, whoever the damn suit was for. You could theoretically play the game like that. You could hop off buildings, swing, fight. You were a white cardboard box, basically.
Yeah, your Spider Cube. That's that was the name that just came up from it.
But that made me furious because not only was it those suits, but the suits that you got as a pre-order bonus. All of them did that. Every single one of the 5 suits you got for a pre-order bonus, you couldn't see any of them. And I was like, this is going to piss some people off.
Weren't most of those Insomniac originals?
I believe so. Yeah, I certainly don't. I've been between playing enough Marvel Strike Force at this point and then just the stuff that I watch. I'm knowledgeable enough of the suits that I know what's actually out there and what's different. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I'm pretty sure that those were ones that they came out with. But I was like, this is going to piss some people off because a lot of people, this is why they pre-ordered.
Yeah.
And then they can't use any of the suits. So I started Googling, and someone said, I just restarted my game, and once it reloaded, everything was fine. And it was. As soon as I reloaded my game, everything came back.
Yeah, because you sent a picture to Anthony and I.
I sent you a video.
Yeah, video. Yeah. That's what it was. And because I was laughing. I was laughing my ass off. It was so funny.
I wasn't laughing at that point because I
can understand you not laughing.
The only reason I wasn't laughing at that point is because that had just come on the heels of the article that I read about how short the game was and how long the cutscenes were, and I was like, man, it really looks like they just mailed this shit
just
in.
really piling up on what you're thinking.
Yeah. So you had that. What else? And then there's one other article I have. So also, this is a first, I believe, because both the original... Now, this does confuse some people, believe it or not, because even though this is Spider-Man 2, technically it is the 3rd game in the series.
It is.
Because you had Spider-Man,
Spider-Man, Miles
Morales, and now you have Spider-Man 2. This is the first one that didn't launch with a New Game Plus feature. They don't have it. They're going to have it, but they don't have it yet. So if you finish the game, you can't do anything else yet.
There is no end-game content.
No, there is There is no New Game Plus yet. It does
that
say,
sucks.
Yeah, in a Q&A on Twitter, the Insomniac Games community and marketing director James Stevens has said that New Game Plus is coming to Spider-Man 2 and that the feature simply missed the launch window. That really was it. It says New Game Plus should be out for all Spider-Man 2 players by the end of 2023, although they didn't announce a date. So if you're playing the balls out of that game,
you ain't going to see it until...
You're going to have to put that game on the shelf. And it's, you wonder... depending on how quick people finish that game, if they're going to come back to it. You know what I mean? Because if you stop a game that you've already beat, and New Game Plus is just being able to carry over all your shit and do maybe some other little extra stuff. But if you got to put that game on the shelf and then you've got 2 months to play other shit, who knows if you're going to come back? So that's kind of a swing and a miss because...
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
A lot of people love
under
New Game
normal
Plus.
circumstances, you have NG Plus coming out straight up with the game.
It was that way with Miles. To my knowledge, it was that way with the original Spider-Man.
I mean,
any game that has New Game Plus, I don't remember ever having to wait.
I mean, even now. I mean, just look at other games out there right now. Like Diablo 4 has New Game Plus. I know for a fact. You know what I mean? The hell about Starfield has a New Game Plus. You know what I mean?
Which is bananas,
and it came out at launch.
Which is bananas considering it, if you do everything you want to do, I think it said it could take you years to just complete one run through.
Well, yeah.
Depending on how you play.
Actually go to every single solar system, hit every single planet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot.
All right, back to you, sir.
Oh, back to me. So let's stay with PlayStation. They decided to have a conversation with people about why they are going to defend their price hike.
Bold stance to take.
It is. Now, you are talking about a roughly 30% hike, which is just fucking bonkers to us. So if you had the essential plan, you went from $59.99 to $79.99. The Plus Extra plan went from $99.99 to $134.99, and the Plus Premium plan went from $119.99 to $159.99. That's a lot of nines.
That's a big increase too.
I didn't think I'd be able to get through all those nines. Now, they recently did an interview with Barron's and the SIE Entertainment business chief, Mike Lempel. He was asked to justify this price hike. And what he said was, quote, "We want to make PlayStation Plus great," end quote. First of all, that's a horrible way to start. That's like saying we're all family here. You know what I mean? That's one of the biggest things that he was trying to bring awareness to is the fact that 85% of the world has not seen a PlayStation Plus price hike in years, many years. And I get that. Again, you are talking about a 30% increase.
Do we get a guarantee that it will not that it will be this way for another 10, 20 years? Or however long it's been since the last price hike?
Yeah.
Can you guarantee me that for the next, 10 to 15 years that this is going to be what it is? If so, okay, I'll deal with it. It is what it is. But I mean, if you're just going to keep hiking the price every year, it's not going to work. Like, I get it. Inflation hits you just like it hits us. But if we can't afford your shit, you can't make more shit.
True.
Because we pay for you to do that stuff.
And we've been dealing with price hikes and gouging all over, especially within the streaming and like monthly subscription, world. Game Pass, they up their price. Apple TV Plus and Apple Arcade up their price. Disney Plus, Netflix, they up their price. Everybody is boosting their prices. Again, I'm going to say this, though. None of them are boosting their prices 30%.
Yeah. But now, if we look back, how many times have they boosted their price since the last time Sony boosted theirs?
I get that.
So it's like one of those things where it's like,
do you want to trickle or do you just want to just handle it right off the gate?
Yeah, because it's like, if you don't bitch about one, I guess, how can you bitch about the other? Because like, say, I know these aren't the numbers, but say Microsoft increases theirs 5% for 5 years, and then every 5 years they increase theirs by 25%. What's the difference? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
I get it. Now, I prefer the slow trickle, honestly.
And that's what I'm going to say, because then at least then my money is somewhat, moving within that same dynamic to where I can keep it.
Yeah, like if I need to figure out, how I can,
and that's what I have to think about.
If I can think about how I can, where I can squeeze an extra $10 this year for Sony versus, okay, how can I figure out an extra $40?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now we don't have that choice, obviously, and if they're defending it, that's obviously a stance they're willing to take to the grave. So, we'll see. Put it this way: what they do is, the beautiful thing is, you'll see the results.
Yes,
they cut you like their sales and all that shit becomes public knowledge. Like,
they are planning to have an even bigger year at the end of 2023 than anything else, because when they first dropped the PS5, it was during a point, obviously with COVID, lockdowns, they couldn't even get all the components they needed for these systems. Now they're in abundance of having these in stock to be able to get to people. Not to mention, there's also the redesign.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That we also know about. And with this redesign, we can see...
Grab.
Huh?
The money grab?
Yeah, the money grab. Like, one of the biggest things about it is that it has a detachable physical...
The disk drive?
Yeah, detachable disk drive. You know what I mean? So you can either have it as a full digital or like a normal fucking PlayStation.
Yeah.
And like, look, that's cool. I think that's neat. You know what I mean? That they have that feature. I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna pay another $500 fucking $600 for this fucking thing.
Absolutely not, because like I said, unless you are, and it's never a terrible idea to be one, because we see how profitable it can be. But unless you're a video game collector, legitimately, what is your reasoning for not buying everything digitally? You don't have to go anywhere to get it. It's not like if your system gets full, all of a sudden you lose that game forever. If you delete it, you can still re-download it for free.
Exactly.
Because it still stays a part of like your library.
Yeah.
So it's like if you're not planning on reselling these games at some point, or like I said, the shit we used to do back in the day, if not everyone can afford it, then you can just pass the game to your homies. But If that's not the case, what do you need the physical drive for? That's why I didn't get one. Or did I? I did get one. I did get one for that reason. Well, no, for the second reason, because we don't all always get the same games. So it's like, look at Jedi Survivor. I can pass that to you when I'm done. You don't have to pay for it.
Yeah, which I'm appreciative of.
Of course.
But I mean, I got, like, mine has a disc thing there, but at the same time, it was the only one that I could get at that point.
Oh, yeah. At that point,
you know what I'm saying?
Just
like,
get what you get your hands on.
When we got our systems, that's when everything was kind of like in the crunch.
Yeah.
And, I mean, because I was very much dedicated to making sure I got a PlayStation 5 before the end of, like, or before, like, half of, like, 2022, I think is when I got it.
And, like, even if you are a collector, unless it's a super duper banger in great condition, you wouldn't need the disc drive anyway, because whatever game you plan on reselling one day, you're not opening.
That is true.
You're keeping that shit wrapped up and then you're selling it, because the amount of games that go for a lot of money that have been opened are few and far between. Like, at this point, the only way I'm going for a physical game is if it's one of those big, like, midnight releases that we used to fucking enjoy, where we all meet up at GameStop, and I think those days are coming to a close.
Oh, those days are long over. Especially when it comes down to, like, with GameStop and all that stuff.
Yeah, so, like, those were fun, like meeting up with your boys and seeing everybody there, excited, talking about the new Fallout or whatever it was and whatnot. But
now, if we all decide to just do the upgrade on the storage on these systems, you know what I'm saying? Because for like $60 or $80 or something like that, maybe I think it's a little bit more now. But you know what I mean, they did have a sale, and you could get a 2 terabyte.
Like the external?
No, not even external, an internal.
Oh, an internal.
It's where you just pop off the, like, right here.
Oh, yeah.
And then you just one screw.
Yeah.
You drop a new one in, you format it, you have 2 terabytes of space to use. Yeah. And like for $125 like $150 or whatever, you can get the Seagate one for Xbox. Which again, 2 terabyte.
Yeah.
So I mean, with everything going to the digital versus physical, you mean everything leaning more towards the digital realm, it makes more sense to invest in those things. You mean to make your game experience a little bit better.
Yeah, like to bring this article to a close. Like I said, I don't know that I'm necessarily mad at it, because I get, like, this is how the world works. Like, things don't get less expensive as years go on. Like, it just is what it is. Like I said, do I think they could have done a better plan? And because I'm wondering if it's just a plan that might just now be coming back to bite them in the ass, because they look great keeping their prices the same when everyone else is doing their incremental increases.
Yeah.
But then when you then decide to really hike it, you got to deal with some shit. You might have just been better off taking your lumps with everybody else. Because not even lumps. Like, you expect that things are going to get more expensive.
Yeah.
Like I said, that's how the world works.
And like,
Big
everybody
Mac today don't cost the same as a Big Mac 20 years ago.
And everybody, I remember these arguments when Xbox would increase their price, when, you know what I mean, if Nintendo ever decided to increase their price. Which Nintendo is only $20 a year anyway, so whatever.
And they're always like, well, how come you guys are increasing and they're not increasing? Like, y'all should all just increase at the same time.
Yeah, that way there's less of a chance that people are going to bitch.
Get blowback, yeah. I mean, but whatever. Like I said, we'll see what the decision, how that affects Sony. And it's going to go one of two ways. Either they're still going to see hella profit, and hopefully that price, if this is the model they want to go with, is going to stay the same for a multitude of years before they decide to do it again, or they're going to see, not as much profit as they want, and then maybe they'll scale it back. But
only one way to find out.
We shall see. But I'd like to stay on Sony since I have one here. Please. Now, this is an interesting one because there's a lot up in the air that people don't quite understand. Oh, sorry.
He is sending a text message.
I was. Sorry. Anyway, so one of PlayStation's most important people, Connie Booth, has left the company after 30 plus years. Now, what's weird is that nobody is quite sure of how this went down. Nobody's sure because she hasn't given her statement yet either. So she doesn't, like, people don't know if she left, if she was fired, if she, the co-creator of God of War alleges that Connie Booth was fired after PlayStation began to work on more live service games. PlayStation veteran Connie Booth, and I got this off GameSpot, by the way, and it was an article literally from yesterday. PlayStation veteran Connie Booth, who joined PlayStation decades ago and is one of the company's most important people, has left the company, a spokesperson for PlayStation has confirmed. However, the nature of her exit remains a mystery amid a report that she was fired. The representative told Axios that Connie Booth helped drive the success PlayStation Studios is experiencing today, and that she helped foster an environment where a team's creative vision could fully flourish. We're thankful for Connie's numerous contributions to the company and wish her the best in future endeavors. Now, while she has yet to comment on her exit and the nature of her departure is unknown, former PlayStation developer David Scott, the creator of Twisted Metal and co-creator of God of War, was the first person to report that she was fired. And he said, and I quote, "She was fired. She was not let go. She did not retire. She didn't quit. She was fired." He added that apparently she had no notice or advance warning. It kind of just happened.
Oh, that's shit.
Which is really, really fucked up.
For somebody who's supposed to have this type of, like, prestigious level, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, like, everybody loving this woman.
30 plus years, and, like, she created a culture that, like, in a time where we're talking about some not so good cultures in video gaming, you know, in companies.
Which is the reason why Activision Blizzard did what they did.
Yeah.
You mean was selling.
Jaffe went on to say that outgoing PlayStation boss Jim Ryan gave a mandate for PlayStation's teams to make more games as a service titles, which in turn reportedly upset a number of PlayStation developers, and all of this was somehow blamed on Connie. The blame fell on her shoulders. GameSpot contacted PlayStation in an attempt to get more details. They didn't really get much yet. Connie was most recently the senior vice president and head of internal production at PlayStation. She was inducted into the Academy of Interactive Arts and Sciences Hall of Fame in 2020.
That is
and
sick.
was understood to be a champion of game developers.
The games that she was a part of. I mean, the games that she was that she played key roles in.
Yeah. List them.
Yeah. Crash, Spyro, Jak and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank, Sly, fucking SpiderMan, Resistance, the Uncharted series, Infamous, The Last of Us. You're talking about some of the most prolific.
Some of which ones are left off? Like, what am I not like when you think Sony? Tell me one title there that's missing.
I mean, God of War is the only one I'm thinking.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Touche, motherfucker. Touche.
But yeah,
so
dude.
I'm interested to see this come out because you don't just fire somebody like that. Like,
been with the company since '89.
The company since '89. Senior vice president, head of production, created a brilliant culture and a key role in producing some of literally your most profitable games since your inception.
Yes.
Why is she gone? Now, again, you know, she can come out and say something too, and I'm hoping she does because I would like to see some clarity because this all just goes away if she just straight up retired, which after 30 years, you know.
After 30 years, you would expect an announcement of a retirement. You wouldn't expect somebody to say offhand that she was fired.
Yeah. Yeah, that's...
I mean, that's the part that I'm thinking about with this.
Yeah, that's a little wild to me. But while I was, you know, talking about somebody leaving the company, I know you had something on some people moving up. Did you not?
Yeah, so we're going to switch it up again. We're going to go from PlayStation back to Xbox. I shouldn't hit things on the table. Sorry. All right, so Xbox has decided to change their leadership structure, and they announced that they have 4 new promotions for executives. This was reported by The Verge, just so everybody knows. Sarah Bond, Matt Booty, Takashi Namoto, and Youssef Mehdi. You had
me at Matt Booty.
Yeah.
We saw him, didn't we? On something. He had to have been doing something on one of the like those Microsoft Xbox showcases or whatever.
Because we had definitely said something about his name.
You don't forget Matt Booty.
You don't forget the booty?
You don't forget the booty.
Okay then. Excuse me. All right, so the way that all of this is going to be, Sarah Bond is now going to be the Xbox president, overseeing Xbox hardware and software platforms, including the player and creator experiences, platform engineering, strategy, business planning, data and analytics, and the business development. I will say right now, she is a black woman. Dope. She is the first black woman, at least that I've been able to find out, that is leading. You mean that is now the head of a major like gaming company. So a lot of this has to do. Before I get back into the other names and everything else we got to do, a lot of this has to do with the acquisition of Activision Blizzard and with the undisputed prick that is fucking Kiosk or whatever the fuck that motherfucker's name is. Yeah, because he's out at the end of the year. He should have been out now, but he's out at the end of the year. And all of this is going to happen because of that. Because they need new people in these different roles.
Better people.
Yeah, so Matt Booty has been promoted to the president of Game Content Studios, and he will oversee ZeniMax.
Okay.
I like that, and I like that a lot. Actually having somebody that was more within the Xbox like gaming world actually jumping into ZeniMax, because we haven't really gotten too much off of that part of the of these acquisitions deals.
No.
So all right, so Phil Spencer wrote, ZeniMax will continue to operate as a limited integration entity led by Jamie Letter, president and CEO, and they will be reporting to Mr. Booty. We have Takashi Numoto. He has been promoted to the Microsoft CMO. Do you know what that is? What the CMO is? He is taking over for Chris Capicella, who is now leaving after 32 years.
Chief marketing
officer. Okay. And then with Nomoto's promotion, Youssef Mehdi is going to take over for Nomoto's old role.
Okay.
Yeah, dude. There you go. Bobby Kotick. That's that prick.
Yeah.
Yeah, once he fucking leaves at the end of the year, more women are going to be within the leadership positions at Microsoft than men.
He had a lot of bullshit under his watch. We've talked about it.
Yes.
We had a whole episode about it.
The locker room.
Yeah.
The boys, even the boys club bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, we've already said it. It's an old tale from us, but we fucking despise that shit. We fucking think it's absolutely
archaic, and it's just fuck all that. That's goofy.
So
goofy behavior.
How about we end on a fun one?
Yes, I agree. It's nice and short and sweet too.
And what better way to do it than right before Halloween, since we never did a Halloween episode?
That's true. We could do one next week.
Well, it's after Halloween then. We've done that a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Over the years of doing this.
Yeah, absolutely.
So everybody knows who John Carpenter is, right?
I would certainly fucking hope so.
He is one of the most legendary horror directors of all time. You are talking about...
Literally directed my favorite Halloween franchise of all time. Halloween.
I was about to say, yeah.
Yeah.
But, dude, The Thing from back in 1982... Back in the late 1900s.
Yeah. Things scared a lot of people.
You had Kurt Russell and Keith David. You cannot get better when it comes down to those two.
Yeah.
But I forget what the question was to John Carpenter. I need to look more into the article. I kind of just remember the main thing about it.
Because it's the part that applies to us.
Yeah, well, of course. He said that all he wants to do is play video games, watch basketball, and eat popsicles.
And the funniest part was he was eating a popsicle while he was giving the interview, and he actually had to pause for it. He said, "I'm sorry, I'm eating a popsicle right now."
I love that.
What a legend! Yeah, and you know what, sir? You've reached that point in life where you've earned that.
Oh God, yeah.
75 years old. I don't think there's anything else you need to do. You've done it all. Enjoy your life, man.
Absolutely.
Actually, there's one more thing you could do for me, sir, if you don't mind. If you ever hear this, which you definitely won't, but I have always wanted a Halloween video game. I always wanted one. And I always thought that there was a possibility it was coming because you're starting to get these now. They saw how successful Friday the 13th was.
Dead by Daylight.
Yeah, and see, that's the closest thing because they did add Michael Myers into that.
Yeah.
But
Dead by Daylight and also TCM.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. So TCM is even more is getting more praise than Friday the 13th did, and Friday the 13th did great. So you've got a game based around Jason. You've got a game based around, the OG Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So, like, you're seeing the success. Now, I'm not necessarily saying I needed that style of game. It can be. I don't care.
Yeah.
But I always wanted something around him. He's horror movies are my favorite genre of movies, and that's my favorite franchise in the genre. So, like, yeah, I always wanted one. So, brother, if you could find a way to partner up with somebody and make that happen, I would like that very much.
Like, I appreciate
Kojima, do that.
I appreciate the way that he talks about like all this stuff, because he's being asked about his career and people he wished like he could work with, and he basically says, I don't care.
Like, I've done it.
I'd rather talk about basketball. I don't want to talk about all this other shit.
Yeah, like my career is
and the best part is that not only is he talking about basketball, he's talking WNBA.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's not even talking like just straight up NBA, dude, because this was right after Vegas won the championship.
Back to back.
Yeah. And it's just like, yeah, come on, man. Like, I love the fact that one of the most prolific fucking horror directors of all time is nothing just but a fucking gaming nerd like us. That's all he wants. Because what do we want? All we want to do is just watch basketball and play video games.
Yeah.
That's all we really do.
Bro, I don't want to make no trouble for anybody. I just want to work. I just want to work, make my money, take care of my family, play video games, and eat what I want. That's all I want.
I mean, look, Mr. Carpenter, if you ever do hear this, again, we know you won't, but if you do, we do appreciate. We say thank you for everything you've done, and thank you for being a 75-year-old man that still loves gaming.
Champion in video games. I love it. We salute you, sir.
Fuck yeah. And that's news. Let me see if I can do this quickly. Probably not, but. So, now it is time to go ahead and let all the crew members at home and the ones abroad, we're going to tell you what we are playing.
You. Yeah, you can go first.
Oh, I was about to say shit. I'm like, did somebody open the door? My bad. Fuck. Okay. All right. Yeah, I could just turn that all the way down because it's the normal volume when I actually send everything over. What the fuck have I been playing? Let's see here. You know me and my just insane gaming. I play so much for so long.
Yeah,
of course.
He's probably got like an eighth into like 6 different games at this point.
I blame that on my ADHD more than anything.
Hey, do you, bro?
You can't say that when you guys had an intervention on this fucking podcast about it.
Hey, didn't work.
No, it worked for the hyper focus of my ADHD, and then I fucking fell off.
It's like, bro, don't you enjoy the ending of a game? Like,
I need to be able to get
seeing
that
all
part
of
first.
your progress and what happened.
No,
like,
I get to see a head blow up, and I'm like, I'm good.
Bro, you were like damn near, as was I. You were damn near brought to tears at the end of the second Ori game.
Yes.
See, you'll see that more if you finish some of these damn games.
Fuck that! No! All right, so honestly, due to playoff sports in our area,
Touche.
have not been playing all that much. After one of the shitstorm games, I think it was the 5 o'clock game, that the fucking dumbasses lost. I threw down on, we did some Diablo, we did some dungeons.
Okay.
And I mean, Javier's been jumping into like the seasonal stuff.
Yeah.
To where you every season you create a new character, you got to build them up to like levels and everything else like that. And he's now playing my character or my role, which is the sorcerer. And he's like, dude, this shit's fun. I'm like, no shit, it's fucking awesome. I get to fucking freeze people all the time. It's fucking perfect. But now we've been running dungeons and that. I haven't really touched anything else besides that. And I mean, we had a rough go last night.
I wouldn't call it a rough go. I think we went 2-2.
Did we go 2-2?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, the games that we lost, I felt like it was a rough go.
In part,
I mean, because we made the one team quit after all of us got 2 goals.
In part, just because there were moments in the game that you can look back on and be like, that was the fucking difference maker right there. Like, we had the one game where all we had to do was stay out of the box because we were struggling on the penalty kill, and we would have won. We lost the game 8-6, but we had 4 penalties that they scored on.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's a 6-4 dub right there if you don't take penalties. And then we had the other game where we got down 5-2, got a 5-minute major, and what did I say? I was like, if we can just pick up 2 here, I'm confident we can at least force overtime. We got nothing right afterwards. We scored a goal to make it 5-3, and I was like, there's that. If we could have just picked up those 2,
then we would have been tied up right there.
Major, we'd have been good. So it's just moments in games that got away from us there. But yeah, we went 2-2. It is what it is.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
No, it was fine.
What about you, man? What you been doing?
Balls deep into Spider-Man 2. Now, I'm not going to go too much into the story because it's still very new, so I'm not trying to spoil shit.
I appreciate that.
You're still going to be playing the game, I know. Is Clyburn playing it?
He is going to start streaming it very soon.
Okay.
For the Twisted Cape.
So the things that I will say that I thoroughly enjoy about it. One, I've had no moments at all where things have felt, monotonous. Like I'm just doing the same shit over and over again. Like everything, and you know me, I'm doing every single side thing I can do before I get. The very first thing I did when I got the game was unlock as much of the map as I could. Literally unlocked. So what I don't remember about was there fast travel in Miles Morales? I don't believe there was. I might be tripping though.
No,
I could be tripping. It's been a while since I played it. And it's funny because people, when they found out that there was fast travel in Spider-Man 2 that you could unlock it, someone's like, "I'll be goddamned if I'm Spider-Man and I'm fast traveling." Like I'm a web sling my way there. But if you do enough in each like district,
you could not.
Okay, so the more you do in like each district, you unlock the ability to fast travel to that part. So I like that. That's pretty cool. I'm of course a champion of what plenty of people like to bitch about because they're fucking turd nuggets. Is like all the inclusivity. Like I love everybody that's represented in that game. Like I said, you got Puerto Rico or Cuba. You got Puerto Rico represented there. You've got the deaf community represented in there. You've got there's pride stuff you can find. There's Black Lives Matter stuff you can find. One of the side quests that I did was helping this guy ask this other guy that he's got a crush on to Homecoming. Like I was like, that's dope. You wouldn't get that much.
That's fucking cute. I love that.
Like
that's
I like
adorable.
shit that goes away from the quote unquote norm.
Mm-hmm.
So like that was cool. Another thing I love, and again, I'm not going to spoil it and say who or what or where, but so when we did the episode where we were looking at like the renderings they had of like Lizard and who else did we see?
You said Lizard, Kraven. We saw Venom.
That may have been it.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that was it. And those were the people that were the most talked about being in the game. Like we had an idea when we watched the trailer, like you heard right away and you were like, "Oh, that's Kraven right there." So like we knew Kraven. Obviously you knew Venom from the start.
Yes.
But so many more people in there than I thought was going to be in this game.
I have seen
little bits and pieces here and there. And I'm like, oh my God, that was fucking cool.
I have seen Kraven's lair. I have heard about that. I mean, where his throne is and what is behind his throne. And not only is it what is behind his throne, but where that comes from.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I love that. When I saw that, I was like, I'm like, oh shit, they actually brought it from that game. Or from that movie, okay.
Like, it's so dope that you were excited for this game from the beginning because they've always been good at having, like, in Miles you had Rhino, you had Vulture, you had who else did you have? Rhino, you had Vulture.
I mean, you mainly dealt with the Tinkerers people and all that shit.
Yeah, so. But you at least had them. And I know in the first Spider-Man you had Scorpion, right?
Negative. Yeah, Mr. Negative, Doc
Ock, Scorpion, whoever. So, like, they've always been good at that.
Electro.
So in this game, when we saw the shit they had, they were like, okay, so this game's version, you're gonna have Kraven, you're gonna have Venom.
You only expected like
you're gonna have Lizard.
You know what I mean? Only like a third of, and then not even a third of like of a normal rogues gallery.
This different shit popping up. I'm like, dude, this is fucking so cool. So that's been blowing me away. And like I said, I said it on stream last night. Masterclass in how a main storyline should go. Like even. There's a lot of cutscenes. Supposedly, if the article is true, around 7 hours worth in total.
Yeah.
none of them have ever felt like I'm watching too long. I'm watching too long, or it's not engaging enough that I'm just like, okay, can I skip?
Yeah.
And even the same thing when you have like, you play video games where you have, you know, like almost like the beginning of the Marvel Avengers game when you're Kamala Khan and you're just kind of walking around and checking out the A-Day stuff. Like, you know, you have missions like that where you're walking around and looking through stuff, going to like...
I remember that even with Miles. Like you had the one where you were at like Feast and you were walking around trying to listen.
Yeah, and like you have one here. Again, I'm not going to go into depth, but you get to do some stuff around like Coney Island, which is super fun.
I've heard a lot about the Coney Island stuff.
Bruh. Like, it's...
I heard they did a damn good job on that.
They did a damn good job. It would not shock me if this game popped up in the Game of the Year category. Will they win it? I don't know, but wouldn't surprise me if it pops up.
I mean, I fully expect to at least see them in like the best voice and all that in those categories, just because. Oh yeah. Just because I mean they like Yuri Urenthal. I mean, as Peter Parker is absolutely perfect.
Agreed.
Lowenthal, sorry. Yuri Lowenthal. God damn, I need to get his name right.
But yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with that game. Now, the only thing that kind of stinks is I was hoping, because I was balls deep into Jedi Survivor before Marvel came out, but the way I figured, I was like, you know, SpiderMan just came out, so if I don't switch to that and get that one out of the way, I'm gonna end up seeing shit that I don't want to see on Twitter or whatever, and shit's gonna get spoiled for me. Jedi Survivor's been out long enough that, you know, I managed to not see anything about it somehow when it first came out, so I'm not seeing anything about it now, so everything that I haven't done is still a mystery to me, where I wouldn't have that opportunity in Marvel, so I'm gonna get back into Jedi Survivor as soon as I'm done with Spider-Man, since, again, the New Game Plus isn't there yet. So,
yeah, so I mean, once you're done doing everything you're doing, you have nothing else to do anyway.
No, just gonna switch right back to Jedi Survivor until I punch back through on Marvel Spider-Man. But yeah, it's great, and I cannot wait to have someone else to like talk about it with that's played it. Yeah, which is going to be one of you or Clyburn, because Anthony's not playing it for 3 months.
That is true. That is true. Yeah, I mean,
for some reason I thought you had a pre-order, because you kept talking about how excited you were for it. So I thought you had a pre-order.
I loved seeing all the information on everything. The only thing that bothered me was the article that we were talking about last time
about the length.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what made me hold off.
I don't blame you, because everything
that I knew.
I may have done the same thing had I not already had the game pre-ordered. I may have done the same thing, I get it.
All right. All right, we're going to go ahead and let Anthony take us out, because he's going to be doing this for 3 months. So let's listen to him.
Glorious. It's a glorious day today, and it's Saturday. And we're going to connect with CGC. You can find us at consolegamingcrew.com. You can find us at our email, which is consolegamingcrew@gmail.com. Our Twitter handle, by the way, is at consolecrew. YouTube and Instagram are both Console Gaming Crew. If you check us out, check out Boss Rush Network, which is bossrush.net. Great place. There's lots of things you can find there, aside from us. Great people. By the way, Twitch should be returning at some point. It is CGC Podcast. We have co-op Mondays, and we're going to do something fancy for Fridays. I don't know yet. But that's where you can find us. And I hope you all have a wonderful day.
God damn, I love that guy.
Me too.
Just
what a guy.
So fucking smooth. The way that he throws that through.
What a good guy.
Oh, yeah. Fucking great guy.
Great guy.
Great guy. Is he from Quebec?
He's from Quebec.
All right, y'all. As always, we want to go ahead and say, please stay safe, wash your hands, do what you got to do to feel good, and it better be gaming, because we know gaming feels good. And as always, y'all,
game on.
Peace. Game on, bitch.